From the beginning of human history, mankind was always curious about the sky. He wanted to know what exactly is up there and what kind of mystery it hides. But to do that, first he should have some kind of vision up there. So he builds this thing called satellite, which does more than one job. Like, it monitors the Earth's surface and it gives a lot of information to a normal person. And it also has a lot of vision up there. But the story doesn't end there. He needs to send this thing up into the sky. And for that, he builds the space shuttle which could carry this satellite. Now we all know that whenever we throw a thing up in the sky, it comes back to the Earth. Like when you throw this ball up in the air, it comes back to the Earth. But when you propel a satellite, shouldn't the space shuttle also come back to the Earth? Well, not if you apply the laws of physics. Let's figure this out in my lab.
So here we are, guys. Now let's take the example that we have taken in the park. So I have this ball and I throw it up in the air. What happens to the ball? It reaches a maximum height and then stops for an instant and then comes back to Earth. Now in this whole process, what happens to the ball is, it increases its gravitational potential energy as it increases in height, and the kinetic energy of the particle decreases as it reaches the maximum height. Now this is because the gravitational force of the Earth continuously pulls it towards the Earth's center, and hence the velocity of the ball continuously decreases as it reaches the maximum height. So there's the maximum potential energy at the maximum height and the kinetic energy is zero at that particular height. Alright guys, now that we are familiar with this whole process, let's get into the mathematical part and understand it in a more detailed manner. So we know the initial velocity of the ball, that is, let's say u, and it has a kinetic energy of half mu square. Now we have learned about the gravitational potential energy, right? And what is that? It is nothing but minus g into capital M into small m by r. Now in this whole process, if you take a particular point, then it has a gravitational potential energy of minus g into capital M into small m by r plus h. Now at that particular point, it has a kinetic energy of half mv square, and v is the final velocity. Now with this all being done, we learned about the law of conservation of energy. That is, the initial total energy is equal to the final total energy. So if you apply that into this equation, we get half mu square minus g into capital M into small m by r, which is equal to minus g into m into small m by r plus h plus half mv square, where v is the final velocity. Now let's stop here for a second and understand what exactly we are trying to do. So the example that we have taken, that is when the ball is thrown up in the air, is actually a prototype of the example that we have started with. That is, when we want to send the space shuttle up into the space to explore, it has to first escape the gravitational force of the Earth. So for that to happen, it has to continuously keep moving away from the Earth's surface, which gives a sense as that the final kinetic energy should never be zero. So in the expression that you can see, if we send the final gravitational potential energy onto the right hand side of the equation, then we get the expression as something like this. Half mv square is equal to half mu square minus g into capital M into small m by r plus g into capital M into small m by r plus h. So this expression that you can see in the brackets, that is half mu square minus g into capital M into small m by r, should be greater than or equal to 0. Now why is this? Because if we take it equal to 0, then the final kinetic energy has some positive value, that is g into capital M into small m by r plus h. So if it is greater than or equal to 0, then also it has some positive value. Now this indicates that when it has some positive value, that is the final kinetic energy is having some positive value, tells you that the space shuttle is moving away from the Earth's surface slowly and slowly. So this gives us a sense of motion for the final space shuttle's velocity. So if you take half mu square minus g into capital M into small m by r greater than or equal to 0, then this gives us an expression for the escape velocity, that is the initial velocity u of the space shuttle. So u is given in the expression as u greater than or equal to root 2g into capital M by r. Now this is the escape velocity for the space shuttle, for that to escape the Earth's atmosphere to to reach a particular point where its potential energy will finally become zero. Now, if we substitute all the values of the capital G, that is the gravitational constant, and the capital M, which is the mass of the Earth, and R, which is the radius of the Earth, we get the escape velocity from the Earth's surface around 11.6 kilometers per second. Now, this is a lot of velocity and a lot of fuel to propel it from the Earth's surface. Now, in this calculation of the escape velocity, we have neglected the gravitational effect from the other celestial objects, like the gravitational effect from our very own moon and from the other planets and also the other stars. But for an approximation, this is just a general way of defining the escape velocity. Now, in the expression for the escape velocity, that is u greater than or equal to root 2 gm by r, is actually true for any celestial object. That is, for example, if I want to throw a ball from the surface of the moon, then it has to have a minimum velocity of root 2 gm by r, where m is the mass of the moon and r is the radius of the moon. Now that we brought moon into the picture, let's calculate the escape velocity from the moon's surface. So we have the mass of the moon around 7.4 into 10 to the power of 22 kgs, and the radius of the moon is given around 1740 kilometers. Now, if we substitute all these values along with the gravitational constant, that is 6.67 into 10 to the power of minus 11, then we get the escape velocity as u is equal to root 2 gm by r, and we substitute those values, we get the escape velocity as 2.4 kilometers per second. So with this, we are done with the concept of escape velocity. Now let's summarize what all we learned. We learned that the conservation law of energy, that is, energy can neither be created nor it is destroyed. That means initial total energy is equal to final total energy. And we also learned about one more thing, that is, when a ball is thrown up in the air, the kinetic energy gradually decreases to a point where it reaches the maximum height and becomes zero. And the potential energy gradually increases with height and becomes maximum at maximum height. And the last thing that we have learned is the escape velocity of any celestial object is given by root 2 gm by r, where m is the mass of that celestial object and r is the radius of that celestial object. Now this is all about the escape velocity. In the next video, we'll learn about the laws which are presented by Mr. Kepler. Now, his laws are mostly based on or entirely based on the motion of the planets around the sun or motion of any celestial object around another celestial object. That is more interesting and you have to wait for it. So until then, stay curious and stay down with gravity.